Hello everybody, MrLegolover55 here, and welcome to another Top 10 video. So Bionicle is over, it's cancelled, and we are no longer getting any more sets, or story content for that matter, but I thought I'd go ahead and take a look back at some of the previous sets we had gotten from G2 and determine which ones are my favorite. Now, before I go ahead and go on to number 10, there's two things I would like to clarify before moving on. So, this list will not contain any Bionicle G2 sets I do not have, so this will include the following: Liwa Uniter, Pohatu Uniter, Uxar Creature of Jungle, and Katar Creature of Stone. The other thing I would like to clarify is that this is all my opinion. Feel free to leave your top 10 favorite Bionicle G2 sets down in the comments below. But anyways, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get on to number 10. Kicking off the list at number 10 is Scorpio, originally released in the summer wave of 2015 sets. Now, when this set was first released back in the summer of 2015, a lot of people did not like him, or at least a lot of the older Bionicle fans did not like him, mainly because of his large Technic mask-stealing tail. However, the reason Scorpio is on this list is because of that large Technic mask-stealing tail. Now, if every Bionicle set were a display set, I honestly don't think I would be as much into Bionicle as I am right now. The main reason I like this set is mainly because of its play feature. The play feature pretty much works almost flawlessly. I haven't had any problems with it, except for the rubber band snapping a few times, or well, once, and one of the Technic bars cracking. But other than that, I don't have any problems with it. However, another thing a lot of Bionicle fans did not like about this set was that the legs were made from these old, spider pieces from, originally, I believe they were from maybe Chima, but yeah, a lot of people did not like those. They would have preferred, CCBS bone pieces. However, I honestly don't think that would have worked too well. I honestly like how they did this, because if they put the CCBS bone pieces, it would probably not be able to hold itself. It probably would, but it wouldn't really be too good to play. And I really do like that that scorpion tail mask-stealing function, so that is why Scorpio is on this list, and why he is number 10 on this list. Taking the number 9 spot is Akita, Creature of Water. This set was originally released in the winter wave of 2016 sets. Now, out of the 6 creatures that were released during that time, my favorite of them had to be Akita, Creature of Water. And the main reason for that is because she is very different. I believe it's a girl, I think. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I honestly like this one a lot better than the other creatures. It is very unique in its own way, because it's a fish. A flying fish. Who doesn't like that? Another thing I really do like about it is that it comes with a stand. Although it's not a clear, like a translucent clear stand, it still gets the job done, and it still does look pretty neat. Now, the reason this is so low on the list is because of its weak play functions. Yes, it's got the stud shooters on top of it, but the only other play feature besides that is, well, it only does this, and this function isn't even useful for the creature itself. That's mainly only useful for combining Akita to Golly Uniter, so that is one downfall about this set. The Shadow Trap, I'm honestly not too sure what to think about. I mean, it's a cool looking one, a very creepy one. However, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the long legs, as I don't think it really fits the aesthetics of the other Shadow Traps. However, other than that, I really don't have anything else to say about Akita. She is a great display set, mainly because of that stand, and I do highly recommend picking her up if you haven't. And I would probably hurry before it goes pretty expensive on eBay or Amazon or whatever. Akimu the Mask Maker takes the number 8 spot on this list. He was originally released in the summer wave of 2016 sets. Now, in my opinion, Akimu the Mask Maker is the perfect set of form and function. He uses both the 2016 waist articulation with the knob on the back, as well as the 2015 gear arm mechanism. What I like even more about this set is that it comes with a ton of translucent pieces. Translucent blue, probably my favorite Lego piece color there is. And to top it all off, he comes with the Mask of Creation and a trans blue, which looks pretty neat. However, the only problem I have with it is that you can barely see the cool details on it, like the Akodan language on it. It's very difficult to see, unlike the original golden Mask of Creation. And you also get another version of Umarak the Hunter's mask in a gunmetal and trans neon orange color, which was unfortunately never canon at all in the show. Now, you might be thinking, why is Akimu down so far on this list? And the reason for that is because of the color scheme. Although I do love trans blue, the way LEGO applied it on this set is honestly probably not the best. They honestly could have done it better. And the reason for this, the thing I don't like about it is that the trans blue on top of the black bone pieces does not really look too good to me. If they had done it maybe on like white bone pieces, which I know they've done those bone pieces in white because I believe they've gotten some in like a few Hero Factory sets. It looks okay on the trans blue bone pieces. However, I would have preferred maybe something else, something a little bit new. But other than that, there really isn't too much else. Another thing I actually do dislike is that he has this saw on the side, which cannot really be spun like his original. It can't really move freely. It's pretty much all frictioned, so you can't really spin it freely. His hammer I'm also not too big of a fan of. It's very, I don't know, it looks neat but from some angles, but from other angles, it looks kind of exposed. So the main reason for Akimu being so far down on this list is mainly because of his color scheme. The spot on this list is taken by the Kopaka and Melam Unity Pack. This set was originally released in the winter wave of 2016 sets. Now, the main reason I like this set is because mainly of Kopaka, and more specifically his build. I really do like the Technic build that they gave him, and I think it fits in nicely. However, of course, there are some problems with it, mainly with his shoulders. They kind of interfere with his head and looking around, so they kind of just bump into his head. However, I also do very appreciate the reuse of the Vorox armor in silver. That was also used on Liwa Uniter, but I don't have him, so he's not going to be on this list, of course. But yeah. For Kopaka's weapons, I think they both look good. I'm not really too sure what to think of the stud shooter shield. I honestly think it's a lot better than Kopaka Master's shield, that could turn into skis and all, but it's not by much. And the one thing I don't like about it is that it uses that sticker piece. It would be nice to maybe get one of those Technic, I guess, cover up, whatever those pieces are called, in like, it would have been nice to have them like printed or something. I'm not sure if LEGO does printing on those pieces, but it would be nice to see that. As for Kopaka's color scheme, it's pretty good except for two things. I'm not a big fan of the gold, the two large things of gold on his hips, or not hips, but on his legs, and I'm also not too big of a fan on the green. Now, there's no actual, like, lime green pieces on him, however, it is printed on, so there's some lime green on the stickers and some lime green here on his chest piece, and I honestly don't like that. I don't think it blends in too well with the color scheme, and I would have preferred if they had just left it out. And now for Melam, he's probably my least favorite of the creatures. And this is honestly, I can honestly see why LEGO decided to put him in a 2-pack, because I don't think he would have been able to sell well in his own set, so he had to be put with, I guess, in a in a double pack, I guess. So, yeah, he's pretty much just a copy of Tarak, except he can hug. He has the hugging function, I guess, as some people call it, instead of a digging function. Another thing I also don't really like about specifically both the characters, it's about their color scheme. So the gold, I'm honestly not too big of a fan of. It's okay on Melam, however, I don't like it on Kopaka, like I said earlier. However, one thing I really don't like about it is that they molded the pearl gold with the trans blue, and in between those colors there's kind of a green, so I can kind of see why they put the green on here. However, I'm honestly not too big of a fan of that. I don't think trans light blue and pearl gold is the best combination of colors, and I would have maybe preferred just do a silver color instead of gold. But other than that, there really isn't too much else I have to say about this set, so let's go ahead and move on. Coming in at number 6 is Storm Beast, originally released in the summer wave of 2016 sets. Now, when these pictures for the summer sets were first revealed, I was a little bit disappointed with Storm Beast, and I thought Lava Beast would be my favorite of the beasts, not including Umarak the Destroyer. But then when I actually got the sets in hand, I actually enjoyed Storm Beast a lot more. So there are a few things I really do like about him, however there's also a few other things I don't like. One of those things I don't like is, and it kind of carries over from my first thoughts for when they were revealed, is that a lot of his bone pieces are covered up very poorly, especially around this area. It only uses those new pieces to cover up the bone pieces, and I don't think it looks very complete. There's also a lot of Technic parts exposed, and a lot of people didn't like these sockets on his hands. They were using the Brain Attack, or not Brain Attack, the Invasion from Below feat from Hero Factory for hands, and a lot of people didn't like the socket that was sticking out. And I honestly don't mind it, but it still kind of is a problem, I guess. However, similar to Scorpio, the reason he's on this list is because of his unique function. It's sort of like a puppet function where if you move the tail, his arms move around, and I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, so I'm very, very happy with that, and that is mainly the reason why Storm Beast is on this list at number 6. Taking the number 5 spot on this list is Golly, Uniter of Water, originally released in the winter wave of 2016 sets. Now, the reason this set is on my list is just mainly because of how clean the design is. One of my favorite parts about the design of this set is that there are pretty much almost no gaps. Usually, for a lot of Bionicle G2 sets, and just pretty much a lot of CCBS sets in general, there's usually a lot of gappiness in between the body armor and the I guess, skeleton torso piece. So, and they pretty much filled all of it up with those Technic parts inside. So I really do like how they did that, and it just makes the design a lot more cooler. I also do like the color scheme. A lot of people don't really like the orange. However, I think it's a nice accent color, and it once again is nice to see the Skrull/Vorox armor on a Bionicle set. But this time we get an orange, and we get 2 of them, so that's pretty neat. However, one thing I don't really like about the color scheme is the addition of trans blue, just normal trans blue. I don't think that's dark blue, it's just a trans blue. I would have preferred if they had maybe kept it, if they had not used any of the trans blue pieces, instead just used the azure pieces, or just what, as I call it, ocean blue, like that color, instead of using these trans blue armor pieces. I would have preferred if they had done more of these. They had one right there for some reason, but they just started doing the trans blue ones there. So I would have preferred if they had done that. But that's pretty much the reason why Golly is on this list and why she is not number 1. But anyways, that's pretty much all, so let's move on to the next character. That is Umarak, the Hunter, and he is taking the number 4 spot on this list, and he was originally released in the winter wave of 2016 sets. Now, one of the main reasons I really like Umarak the Hunter is because of his looks, and I really do love his color scheme. It's black, trans jungle green, as I call it, dark tan, and dark red as an accent color. So the color scheme, to be honest, looks really good. There are a few Technic pieces that stick out here and there, like the blue pins on the legs and all, but they're not very noticeable at all. I also really like that this set comes with the Mask of Control, one of the 3 legendary masks, and at first I wasn't too sure about the design for it. I wasn't a big fan of it. However, I've grown used to it at this point, so it's an okay mask. However, I think the Mask of Creation is a lot better than it, and we unfortunately never got Mask of Ultimate Power, but I guess that's fine, because I got one on Shapeways and all, but yeah. One of my favorite things about his build is probably the legs. To some people, they're a bit awkward, I guess. They're very gappy and they're very just Technic-y, and there's a lot of, I guess, Technic exposed, mainly the blue pin axles or whatever you call them. I personally do agree that it doesn't look good with a lot of the Technic stuff exposed. However, I think it still looks okay. It still looks fine, and I honestly would prefer the Technic build rather than just a simple long bone piece. I think this works a lot better and is a lot better than just, yeah, standard bone piece. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Umarak the Hunter, so let's go ahead and move on to the number 3 spot. Coming in at number 3 is Tahu, Uniter of Fire, originally released in the winter wave of 2016 sets. Now, my favorite part about this set is his design, and he probably has probably, in my opinion, the best design out of all of the Bionicle G2 Toa. So that means, unfortunately, none of the Toa Masters will be on this list. So if you were expecting some to be on, sorry, I honestly just think a lot of the Toa Uniters are a lot better than the Masters. Now, as for his color scheme, I do really like it. However, I feel there is too much gold, and I'm sure a lot of Bionicle fans would agree with me that he is more like the Toa of Gold than the Toa of Fire. So, yeah, there's a lot more gold, or at least visually, there's a lot more gold on him than red or even trans orange. So that is something I kind of dislike about it. And even when you add the golden mask, it just adds more to the gold. It also adds some trans red, but not a whole lot. So, I mean, the color scheme is something I like and don't like. And then there's also the azure blue, or as I call it, ocean blue, that's in the color scheme, which I think is an okay idea as an accent color. I'm not sure if it is an accent color. However, there's only 2 ocean blue pieces on the set. However, there is some of that printing in that color on his chest piece, so I'm honestly not too sure how to feel about the blue. I mean, you could barely notice it, and even when you do notice it, it's not too big of an eyesore at all, so it's not too big of a problem to me. Now, similar to Golly, his build is a lot less gappy than a lot of the just CCBS sets in general. Between his chest plate armor and his torso, there is a lot of Technic pieces filling up that space, so it's not very gappy at all. However, there is just a little bit of gap near the top, unlike Golly, who covers up pretty much everything. Yeah, so I really think they did a good job with covering up a lot of the stuff inside and making it less gappy. But there really isn't anything else I have to say about this set, so let's go ahead and move on to the number 2 spot on this list. Coming in at number 2 is Maskmaker vs. Skullgrinder, originally released in the summer wave of 2015 sets. Now, a lot of the things I like about this set are kind of scattered out, so I guess we'll go ahead and start with Akimu. I really do like Akimu's color scheme on this one compared to this more powered-up version that was released in the summer wave of 2016, mainly because he uses translucent bone pieces, so a lot of the black isn't too noticeable, and he doesn't use, like, the trans blue armor pieces on top of the black bone pieces. So I honestly think this looks a lot better than that for the color scheme. His hammer of power is okay. I think it's a pretty cool idea that it's a stud shooter. However, when you actually are hitting stuff with it, one of my probably the big problem is that when you hit stuff with it, the studs go flying when you don't want them to. So if you are hitting stuff, I would recommend taking the studs out first, which is honestly kind of just a hassle, and I don't really like that about it. His shield is very nice. It was never really used in the 2015 animations. However, he did have it on his back the whole time during the Journey to One on Netflix. So I guess it's canon, I guess, even though he didn't really... But yeah. His protector mask is pretty neat. It's not exclusive to this set, even though it is the only set you can get in. However, that mask came with the Bionicle activity book, which I do have. Don't have it on me right now, but I do have it. But that's pretty much it for Akimu. And speaking of masks, this set, of course, comes with the legendary Mask of Creation, which, in my opinion, is probably the best mask to come out of Bionicle G2. It's very, very detailed with the Akotan language on it and everything. And even to top it all off, it comes with a mask stand, so you don't have to build your own custom one. It already comes with one, so that is pretty neat. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the Mask of Creation. Now for Skull Grinder, Kolta the Skull Grinder. There are some things I like about him and some things I don't. One of the things, so I guess we'll start from down. I don't really like his legs are very gappy near the bottom, I guess. So that's something I don't like, especially with that new armor piece. I think it just makes it feel a lot more gappy. And so yeah, and then moving up, it's a lot more, even more gappy with his torso. There's a huge gap that even, like, you can actually fit his mask in the gap inside there. That is sometimes what I do when I want to put the Mask of Creation on him. So that is just a lot of gappiness in there. Another thing that was a problem with Kolta was his gear function. It didn't really work well. He couldn't hold up his own weapon because there wasn't enough friction. And LEGO could have easily fixed that by just adding 2 gears. And that's what I did, and I got that idea from one of LEGO Jang's videos to fix his gear system. So, my goodness, all LEGO had to do was just add 2 tiny little gears to fix that. Of course, that's what I'm doing right now when I have them on display. And I do have the gears in them right now, so yeah. I don't know why LEGO didn't do that. Some things I do like about Kolta, though, are his color scheme. It's a very neat color scheme, very evil-looking one. It's gunmetal gray, silver, trans neon orange. Those are the main colors for him. And I guess there's also technically a bit of black for some of the bone pieces and also for his feet. His mask stealing staff is cool. However, it didn't really, it was kind of large, and yeah, like I said, it doesn't really, isn't held up well by just his arms because it was missing gears, but yeah. I also like his mask, even though this is just he just reused the same mask from Skull Warrior. It comes in a silver color, which is, I believe, exclusive to this set. So, and it honestly, it looked like a Terminator face to me. It honestly did. But anyways, there really isn't too much else to say about this set. I really like this set mainly because of Akimu and the Mask of Creation, and Kolta is a neat little thing on the side. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have to say, so let's go ahead and move on to the final spot, the number 1 spot. And the number 1 spot goes to Umarak, the Destroyer, and he was originally released in the summer wave of 2016 sets. Now, there are a lot of things I really like about this guy. There's also a few things I don't like, but there's a lot of stuff I really do like about this guy. First of all, his color scheme is black and this trans lime green color, which gives him a very evil and just, I guess the color scheme honestly just fits into his name somehow. I don't really know how, but it just looks really, really evil, and I think it looks really nice. Also, his build is pretty neat as well. His giant claws make him very menacing, as well as his giant legs, which are very similar to the ones from his hunter counterpart, except this time they're a lot more mutated and, I guess, creepy looking, and I really do like that. One thing I guess I just really don't like about it, well, not really don't like, but something I just don't like about him is that he is very gappy, and I'm pretty sure a lot of Bionicle fans don't like that. He's very gappy, mainly inside of here between his chest armor and his torso, so yeah, that is something I don't really like. However, it's not too big of a problem to me. Also, up here you could say that it's not very covered up. However, it's honestly not too noticeable because of these shadow trap pieces, or at least to me it is, so that is something I'm very glad LEGO did. I also like how they gave him more stability. They added, I guess, an extra foot piece on the back of his large foot piece, so just to add more stability to the set. The functions work well. The claw grabbing function works very nicely. There's enough friction in there for it to hold a pose. The corrupted mask of control also looks very, very evil, especially with that, I guess, jaw piece, even though I have no idea where that came from. The horns are a little bit odd. I would have preferred if these black Technic pieces were in gold as well, or at least, I don't know, yeah, in gold, I guess, some sort of pearl gold. But I guess it's fine how it is. But there really isn't too much else I have to say about it. I really do like his Technic build as a very, very unique build, unlike a lot of the other ones. But yeah, this is why Umrak the Destroyer is my favorite Bionicle G2 set of all time. So that pretty much wraps up my favorite top 10 Bionicle G2 sets of all time. Feel free to disagree with me down in the comments below and post your top 10 favorite Bionicle G2 sets of all time. But anyways, that's pretty much all I have for now, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and keep building!